welcome back to Chaotic Merriment. Let's make something once so we can have it all weekend. And I'm talking about lasagna. I'm gonna use half of this ground beef, which is 90% lean, 10% fat, trying to stay on that healthy side of life. And I'm also gonna use a mild Italian sausage. I don't know about you, but I love a good Italian sausage in my lasagna. It's just the way my mom always made it growing up, and it's just one of my favorite things ever. So the best way you're going to get this out is you're going to squeeze the middle, give it a good twist, and pinch as you squeeze out the sides. I'm aware my hands are in the way, so you can't exactly see, but this isn't exactly a fun thing to visualize or see, but I'm doing my best. And just to show you once more, you're gonna give it a good squeeze, twist it maybe once, twice, thrice, whatever makes you happy. Pinch and squeeze the sides until everything comes out of its casing. We're gonna sprinkle in some salt, pepper, some paprika. Gonna throw in some thyme and some basil. I'm also going to do a little bit of onion. I don't know if you'd call this a quarter or a third, but I'm going to cut it, slice it, and attempt to dice it. Not particularly pretty, but it'll get the job done. It does what it needs to do to help season our meat and make it taste really good. Then I'm going to mash a couple cloves of garlic. I've discovered that mashing them before you cut them is an easier way to get the skin off, and it helps flatten it so you'll already have it semi-portioned to about the cutting size that you want it. So, because I don't like fussing around with the garlic mincer thing. It's a weird little handheld device. I find it easier to just choppy chop. So you're just going to combine that with onion. In our skillet, I'm going to use about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm going to toss the onion and the garlic just to brown it, and so you can smell it. It's so yummy. Once it's decently brown, you're just going to add all of your meat, and you are going to stab, and work your way in cooking that meat. Now, this might be rather controversial, but something I do try to do is to get all of the meat as small as possible, because I don't like random chunks of meat as I am eating. So once it gets to about what I like, I'm going to cover it. And as it's getting brown, I'm also going to degrease it, because even though I love Italian sausage, it is a little heavy on that oil and grease and fat. So we just gotta take a little bit of it out. Not enough to take away the flavor, but just enough so it's not so oily. And while it's straining, I'm just gonna make sure I chop and squeeze and try to get any bigger chunks into some smaller chunks, so it's, I guess, more finely ground beef and Italian sausage, just so there aren't massive chunks. And once that's done, I am going to return it to the skillet and keep it on a low heat. See? Look at all that grease. No thank you. So yeah, just toss it back in the pan, turn it on low, add a little bit of Classico tomato sauce, because that's what I had in my cabinet. And, toss it in, mix it up, keep it on low, keep it warm. Now I know everybody uses different types of cheeses, but something I like to add to mine is a little bit of mozzarella. Mozzarella just hits different. It is a reason why it is the favorite of many's, and it is definitely a favorite in our household. So I'm going to do this entire block of cheese magically, just so you don't have to watch me do it. And I'm also going to use cottage cheese. I had debated on using a ricotta, but I'm not familiar with that. Now, Italians, please don't come for me when I say I literally looked everywhere for normal lasagna pasta, which is the type that you would boil and then add to your baking dish. I literally looked everywhere, but Aldi's only seem to have the ready-to-bake kind. And after, giving up the fight, I just decided to go with what I have. So please don't kill me for breaking the pasta. But allegedly, if you use this, it'll soften it as it cooks. I don't know. It's weird. I'm nervous. But once all the noodles are layered in the pan, I like to do my meat/sauce first, and then my cheese, and I will just continue in that layering process of pasta, meat sauce, probably mozzarella, and then cottage cheese, and just work my way up to the top. Got to make sure you got to layer everything as evenly as possible. I don't know about y'all, but I know my bottoms are almost always thicker than necessary. Not intentionally. I do try to, divide it up into thirds as much as I can. But yeah, no. It doesn't always work, but the bottom always ends up being just a tiny bit thicker. But that's okay. Doing my best to spread it out. Cottage cheese is a weird thing. It does taste good. It just, I don't know, it looks so wrong, but I really do enjoy the taste of cottage cheese. Probably makes me weird, but it's really good. I don't know about you, but I love a good cheesy goodness on not only lasagna, but just pasta in general. Each time I have to break this pasta to make it fit, it feels just like a crime. I don't know. I was never raised to break pasta, but there's no way to get all of this to fit in the pan, so crimes I must commit. I don't know about y'all, but I do know that for me, lasagna was one of my favorite dishes that my mom would make. It was either on a super rainy day, something to help feed us, or it was on the weekend, so it was always something it lasted. Because, it's a big casserole. It lasts for a couple days, and it just gets better with time. But if there was lasagna, it meant that was the only thing you were eating for the weekend, because if you don't want to cook all weekend, this is what you gotta do. And it's probably one of the smartest and best things, because this lasted us from Friday until Monday. But that's just because it's me and my husband. I'm not gonna lie, it was taking a lot of willpower to not just eat the cheese as I was doing this. I was trying to be good and just put everything in this, but it was so tempting. So I'm going to put some aluminum foil over the top of it and bake it at, I think, 350 or 375, and bake it in the oven for about 45 minutes. And yeah. Look at this yummy goodness. Ah, these are always just like worth the wait. Now this might be controversial, but I've always found that eating lasagna out of a bowl was always so much easier than trying to eat it out of a plate because I hated the sauce and everything escaping.